So the ego persona is a very contracted energy that is manifesting itself with very specific, with a very specific perception of reality. It has very specific life views, and it has very specific thoughts and actions tied into those life views. And it is created by a very predictable biochemical psycho-endo-emotional pattern. But the same goes for the authentic persona. As I said, it's the same thing. Both are in the illusion. It's exactly the same. It's just the opposite, which means that it's exactly the same. The authentic persona has an expansive energy, which means that it is manifesting itself in another but very specific pattern with specific perception of reality and with equally very specific life views, very specific thoughts and actions. And it is also created by a very predictable biochemical psycho-endo-emotional pattern. And in those two opposites, you have the first two steps of falling away, the identifying and the doubt. So what we're going to go through now is a list I have made. It's not a full list, obviously, because I can possibly not. It's impossible to do that, my goodness. The topics that I mentioned are only the ones that I have picked out today when I was sitting and writing it down. And it's only for you to get an idea of when you're authentic and when you're not. And when we go through it, then please remember unconditional acceptance. You don't have to change anything. Just acknowledge it. So if I say something and I'm hitting, straight, I'm hitting it straight on. It feels like I'm talking exactly about you. And immediately you feel the need to change or do something. Please fill yourself with unconditional acceptance. You don't have to change anything. Just acknowledge it. It's a super important point, because if you hear something and you realize something and immediately you want to change something, then you are actually locking yourself into the contracting energy of the ego. You're locking yourself into I am not, I should be. And that attitude is not doing you any favors. So if you hear something and realize something, just let it be. Acknowledge that you have heard and realized something, and do not make any change whatsoever. It will make you fall into a non-identifying. And you will go from the non-identifying into doubt. And as soon as you fall into doubt, then you are locked into the identifying, and then you are taking another trip in the roundabout. So just let it be. Just be with what is. Have unconditional acceptance to whatever comes up. Okay, so I'm gonna read them with the ego perception first, and then the authentic perception as a comparison. And they're meant for you to see through the contracting energy of the ego and the participant, and the be in the authentic and the observant part of you.